So, my name is Michael. I was born here in Poland, in Gdańsk. My educational background is Chinese studies. I graduated in Warsaw, the university, and since 2012 I'm a licensed tourist guide, so I do tours all around Poland. Being Polish, it's always talking about the Second World War. We lost 6 million people, which was 20% of our population. Actually, only 67% of the population of the pre-war Poland was Polish. There were Ukrainians, Germans, Lithuanians, and there was a big Jewish community, about 10% of the population, over 3 million people, and they are gone. We lost 6 million, and 3 million were Polish Jews. We still haven't recovered from the Second World War. We have the Second World War Museum here in Gdańsk. Every single city in Poland somehow was experienced by the Second World War. The bigger cities were destroyed in 60, 70, some of them even 95%. We lost also 87% of intellectual class in Poland. Both Germans and Russians were willing to erase the high educated class in Poland. But actually, the open-air museum of the Second World War is the city itself, because you still can see the bullet holes from 1945. We still can see the war. My grandfather was born in 1933 on the territory of nowadays Ukraine. Some of the Ukrainian nationalists were killing with Hitler Polish citizens. We still don't know how many people were killed by them, maybe 100,000, maybe more. My grandfather, when he was 6 years old, he was seeing those crimes committed on his neighbors. He saw how his neighbors are killed. When the communists were taking over the power, they were looking through the German documents, and they found out that my great-grandmother was on the list to Auschwitz. Probably she was a part of the Home Army. So she was a suspect of being the enemy of the German state, and she was about to be transported in a few weeks' time. So if the war would last longer, probably she would also be sent to Auschwitz-Birkenau. From my father's side, my great-grandparents, they were living in a village called Jadów. And over 90% of the citizens of this town were Jewish. One day, the Jewish citizens of the city were transported by train to Treblinka death camp. And 2 of them managed to escape. And because they were helping in the workhouse of my grandfather, great-grandfather, he hid them in the basement and covered them with potatoes. Germans were looking for them for a couple of days. And in Poland, for helping Jews, was only one possible penalty. It was a death sentence. So he told them, if you want to survive, you need to escape. And they went to the northern eastern, to Ostrołęka, and the war ended. Nobody knew what happened to those people. And one day, when my great-grandfather was already dead, my great-grandmother was going down the street and she bumped into one of those gentlemen, and He was living in Israel. He came because he was already a very elder person, and he wanted to visit Yadów before he died, and they spent the whole day talking about the former town, and he was one of very few sole survivors of Holocaust. In Poland, we have so many people who experienced the Second World War, and there are so many who are still alive. A lot of government institutions, but also non-government institutions, to try to record all the memories of those people. Poland is a Wolverine of Europe. We've been attacked 40 times in the last 200 years, and we are still alive. So I would say that the Second World War, the communist times, the solidarity movement, and now how we behave towards the refugees in Ukraine show us that we have a future.